Reddit. What did you see on TV that traumatized you when you were a child? There was this anti-drug PSA where they were like, when you sniff, this is what happens to your brain, and it was this girl sleeping in bed while her room slowly filled with water and she drowned. But I was very young, and didn't know they meant like, sniffing glue or whatever. I just thought they meant like, sniffing when you have a cold. So I was petrified for ages that sniffing was going to drown me. And I had terrible seasonal allergies for like 10 months of the year, so I had runny noses a lot. I get that they didn't want to be like, here are the things people sniff to get high, don't sniff those. But that commercial was way too vague about what sniffing is. The Fireys. That scene scarred me for life, especially when one of them takes out its eyes, use them as dice and then swallow them to make them go back into their sockets. Those guys and the Chamberlain's wine in the dark crystal. The old hobo woman that carried tons of stuff on her back, toys, stuffed animals etc. when she keeps trying to give more and more of it to Sarah, weighing her down with it. It was psychologically horrifying, like, trying to kill someone with kindness. Unsolved mysteries. Just hearing the intro music sends a jolt through my entire body. So many stories scarred me as a kid. I specifically remember an episode where a person was describing getting rolled up in a carpet and having their head smashed with a hammer. My parents watched that and I hated it. I knew if I stepped 1 foot out of the living room, I'd be murdered and end up on the show. Love it as an adult though. 2 words, pink walrus. Still traumatizes me to this day thinking about it. This comment sent me into a small deep dive on the Pink Wiki, and apparently it's one of numerous Pink episodes that have been removed from the television rotation, banned, or censored in some way due to a variety of reasons: implied self-harm, toilet humor, Native American stereotypes, blood, etc. I don't remember Pink being that problematic lol, but I do remember the terrifying walrus. The TV show Little House on the Prairie. There are constant jokes about how it was inappropriately billed as a good family show for a reason. It was a festival of horrors, and left me traumatized more often than not. Key episodes included a girl, Sylvia, who was raped by someone wearing a creepy clown mask, ended up pregnant, shamed, and died falling off a ladder trying to protect herself from another rape. Albert ending up addicted to drugs, with horrific withdrawal scenes. Bizarre nightmares, including Laura and Albert as Indians, with Albert in some crucifixion position, Mr. Olson beheading Mrs. Olson, Laura dreaming her own execution. Religious whack jobs kidnapping kids or keeping their own kids prisoner and beating them. Rat-infested grain causing sickness through the whole town. Ma getting an infected wound on her leg and hallucinating, to the point that it looks like she's cut her leg off. Laura's horse breaking a leg and having to be shot. A massive wagon accident where the kids watch, screaming in horror, as their parents tumble down the side of a massive hill and die. The blind school catching on fire, and Mrs. Garvey and Mary's baby being trapped inside. Including a scene where it looks like Mrs. Garvey is actually smashing a window with the baby to try to escape. Cut to smoking bodies after. Rabid animals attacking, from wild dogs to a pet raccoon, all involving gruesome scenes of stabbing and killing said animals. So many hostage situations, kidnappings, drunken rages, beatings and other forms of abuse, cruelty. Even the episodes that were supposedly uplifting freaked me out, like the woman who faked her own funeral and death, or where someone goes blind/regains sight or learns to walk again via trauma, and, oh, especially, everyone blowing up the whole town on the final episode. Seriously. All of this in LHOTP? I may have to check it out now. This is kind of a silly one. Matilda came out right as I was starting school. Miss Trunchbull scared the shit out of me. I was so scared to go to school because I thought I'd be put in the chokey, which, let's be serious, is essentially an Iron Maiden. I pretended to be sick so much those first few months of school, and then my mom told me I had to tell her what was wrong or I would have to do kindergarten over again. I told her I was scared of the principal because of Miss Trunchbull and I didn't want to go back. She talked to my teacher who talked to my principal who ended up walking me through the school and showing me lots of fun stuff. Then he showed me his office which was choky free. Then he gave me a popsicle and walked me to my classroom. I wasn't scared again. That man was principal throughout my whole grade school life and he retired after I went to college. He was beloved in the community, and sadly he passed away in 2019. I'll always remember him. The Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction from the Super Bowl that year. I don't know where the FCC was to protect my young eyes, but they failed in their task and it was too late for me. I had seen the nipple. Immediately, I became addicted to drugs, and caught the gay. I remember my then girlfriend / now wife and I were watching that. When they suddenly cut to black screen we looked at each other for a moment. There was a short pause and I said, "Did we just see Janet Jackson's nipple?" She replied, "Yep. That was a titty." Oh Lord, back when I was younger, Nickelodeon had a sub-channel called Nicktoons. Honestly better than Nickelodeon, as it played the classics, and even some of the up-to-date stuff. At one point, they had this event where they compiled animations from around the world, which was very cool to watch. One animation in particular came from, I wanna say China. It was about two child panda bears playing around, walking, swinging and stuff. Whatever, I was into it. I really love animals. Well, at the end of the animation, they had the two pandas choke on lollipops and die, then proceed to play in their heaven. When I tell you how hard I cried at that, I wouldn't be exaggerating. To this day I haven't been on Nicktoons. That scene where Atreyu sees the mural of Mork snarling in the cave, and then turns around to see him right there in the never-ending story. Holy shit, that terrified me. Anytime something started playing on the Disney Channel that I even thought might be that movie, I'd turn it off. I remember being at a hotel in Orlando when we went to Disney World when I was 6. I spent one night at some kids club that entertained kids while parents went out. They started playing this movie on a projector screen and I faked being sick to get them to find my parents to pick me up. Also the Unsolved Mysteries episode about the Stockton arsonist, that I caught on TV one night. That video of the house burning and the guy rasping Omar was nightmare-inducing. That one Indiana Jones movie where they tie up this guy and this sort of priest comes and sticks his hand in the guy's chest and pulls out his heart. Also for many years I got Indiana Jones and Star Wars mixed up, B.C. Harrison Ford, so up until my late teens I thought Indiana Jones got his heart removed, then was lowered in lava, which made him a statue which was then gifted to Jabba. There was an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, or maybe a spin-off, where a nerdy kid had to use the bathroom really bad. Teacher and classmates are like, OMG this guy again, sheesh. Eventually, he's allowed to go into the bathroom. Gets in a stall, hears a noise from the vent about him. Scared, he continues. Then he hears the noise again, and sees something with eyes in the vents above the stall. He pulls up and runs out. Runs back into the room with his pants peed on. Class and teacher laugh at him like a bad dream. He convinces the teacher to look, and when the teacher does, she is eaten by the toilet monster. The last scene is her shoe falling into a bloody toilet. For about 15 years after that, I had a habit of looking up before using a public toilet. If it had a vent above it, I 100% avoided it. There used to be government safety adverts for things like stop, look, listen, stranger danger, etc., but the one that traumatized me was about standing too close to the side of the escalator. The advert used adult-sized and child-sized Wellington boots going up an escalator to demonstrate. And the child-sized boots got shredded to bits. Not only did I not stand too close to escalator edges, I still to this day take the stairs unless unavoidable.